Hello, Internet. I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Unpopular Culture, the only show that exclusively caters to teenagers with attitude that dress monochromatically. This week,
I like that.
Yeah, we have a couple things to talk about. More than a couple, a few. I always get that confused. Don't worry, the show gets better from here. We're going to talk about the casting of Alpha 5, the effeminate, weird robot with a teddy bear from Power Rangers in the new movie. And it is not who you would expect. We're also going to talk about the first reviews for Westworld's HBO's new series based on Michael Crichton's theme park book, The Other One.
/ 1978 film starring James Brolin, father of Josh Brolin.
Yeah.
I found that out.
Hold on to the seat of your pants for that one. Josh
You mean
Brolin
hold on to your-
ascendancy action.
You could say hold on to your butts. That was Crichton.
Then we're going to talk about one of my favorite things to talk about, and that's Doctor Who, the spin-off show Class, which I'm probably going to hate, as a release date and some more details on the first episode. We're going to talk about that and why it's probably going to suck. So, I don't know, hold on to your butts for that one as well. You can't use the same thing twice, but I did anyway. Again, stick around. It's still progressively by the end of the show, we'll get better until it's adequate. And then finally, more Justice League news. We have our first look at J.K. Simmons as Jim Gordon.
He's the commish!
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be screaming for, I need pictures of Batman! Because he was...
That's he was J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried. Anyway, first topic, Alpha 5 has been cast, and the Power Rangers movie that's coming out next year is one of the movies I have the most mixed feelings about, I think, of any film, because the writers and the people behind it don't have a good track record, like at all.
You don't say.
Like, the creative forces behind it, I have no faith in. But they must just have, like, a great casting director, because you have Bryan Cranston as Zordon, which is, I didn't even know I wanted to see that until I heard that news. You have, I forget her name, I feel bad, but, you know, the lady from Hunger Games who plays the crazy lady, who's their, like, fashion lady, whatever. Elizabeth Olsen? I want to say Elizabeth Olsen. She's playing Rita Repulsa, which is an interesting cast. I could see it. The outfit's kind of weird, but fine. She's competent. And then the news that came out, like, yesterday, Bill Hader...
Bill Hader
is playing Alpha 5.
That doesn't make sense to me.
Zordon's confidant robot friend. So,
okay, here's the thing, though. Like, I understand it's super weird. Alpha 5 is a weird character. They're probably going to go like a Charlie Day in Pacific Rim-esque. Like he's the funny character. Alpha 5 is going to be like, aye, I'm the funny character. Here's a fucking bear that I have for no reason. I'm doing all right, Alpha 5, I just found out.
Bad, yeah.
And, but what I want out of this, more than anything, it doesn't have to be part of the body of the film. The after the credit scene is just Bryan Cranston as Zordon and Bill Hader as Alpha 5, just talking for 5 minutes, just bullshitting. If I don't get that, this casting isn't worth it. It's just not worth it.
What do Zordon and Alpha 5 do all day? Because it's not the command center is not particularly large, at least not the actual room. In the White Ranger saga, when they're building him, clearly there's other parts of the command center we don't see. But the majority is just that room with consoles. So Zordon's just staring at blank walls and a little robot like 24 hours a day. And then occasionally Tommy will show up and probably brag about how much Kimberly pussy's getting or whatever. I don't know. I'm just...
Dude, I feel like Zordon kind of is the boss there.
Yeah.
They could do a Breaking Bad skit that would be pretty funny.
That'd be funny. That'd be actually a good viral marketing something if they wanted to do something like that, but I don't think they will. But
yeah, me either.
Anyway,
it's weird, right?
Before casting and stuff came out, there was some script stuff that wound up online from this, and it kind of makes more sense seeing Bill Hader as Alpha 5 now. I kind of can see the tone they're getting together, because I think I mentioned this before on one of the episodes where in an early script draft, Alpha 5 says something sort of tongue-in-cheek to one of the Rangers, and then the Ranger calls him a dick. So, like, I was like, when I put that with Bill Hader as Alpha 5, I kind of thought to myself, okay, maybe I can see where they're going.
Without Bill Hader, that sounds like we're PG-13 Power Rangers. Ha 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 ha. PG-13, PG-13. Go to Hot Topic. Right? Like it's kind of like when Fuller House made a joke where they kind of swore.
Yeah.
Did they say "damn it" or something?
Yeah, they swear occasionally. It's Fuller House is weird because I don't know if they are aiming for kids or people who are now stay-at-home moms who watched Full House when they were kids, but because in one scene you have little kids doing kind of cute things, and then the next scene they make a joke about Stephanie's boobs and how big they are.
Right. And isn't she barren?
Yeah, and she's barren, which is great for a family show.
Hilarious.
Anyway,
hilarious.
Power Rangers. So
Kimberly's barren too. Otherwise, she would have had so many superhero kids already. You know she's the one bouncing back and forth between Tommy and what's the Red Ranger's name? I can never remember the Red Ranger's name because Tommy wins.
I forget.
The first one, the Native American.
The first one wasn't
Jason.
Jason wasn't Native American. Tommy's
Are
Native
you sure?
American. Tommy's the Native American one.
Maybe
Jason's
they're both
white.
Native American.
No, Tommy's white. Or Jason's white, sorry.
So is Billy, though. Maybe he had some Southeast Asian people in there.
I don't know.
Like you have Trini's got the body of Asia, and then Jason kind of just trickles in with like some, white people, globalist, where they take the Pacific Islands and fuck their way into dominance.
This is a really weird Power Rangers conversation. Anyway, yeah, the casting, if nothing, is impeccable in this movie. So I am so 50-50 on this. The creative team is terrible. I think they did that MTV funded movie where it was the time travel, where it was kind of like that movie Chronicle, but instead of about superpowers, it was about time travel. So it was like found footage.
That sounds terrible.
And that movie wasn't very good at all. So I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I'm probably going to see it either way, though, because
my expectations are hella low.
Yeah.
I'll see it anyways because we do this, and I think you'll want to talk about it.
Oh, we're going to have to talk about it.
And I'm your man. And I'm your man slave.
We got to watch some nostalgic cash-ins. That's how this works.
How many cameos by old Power Rangers do you think?
0.
I feel like Jason's running the juice bar now. He's running the juice bar.
It's 0. They had an article out like a month ago where none of them got asked to come do cameos. And
what the fuck?
That kind of pisses me off. That's actually a little bit rude.
Yeah.
Half of them aren't doing anything.
Maybe it's not true.
Maybe, but I don't need it.
Like if they were just extras in a juice bar, and you just had a really quick moment where the kids, the Power Rangers in this universe, are sitting at the table all in their monochromatic attire, and then the other ones are as well.
Sure.
And they're like, that's weird. Anyways.
That'd be fine. I'd do it kind of like how the Brady Bunch movie did it, which is a funny movie from the 90s, if people don't remember it, where it kind of parodied the Brady Bunch. They had all the old cast members in there as different characters, as brief cameos. It worked. I don't know.
Yeah.
You couldn't get Trini, though. Trini's dead. Trini has been dead for years, so.
It would be funny if they had just a picture of Trini on the table. Like a framed picture that they just keep with them.
It could be like, because the Red Ranger now is an Asian actor, so they could be like, this is my dead aunt. Her name's Trini. I don't know.
I feel like Billy's the one that holds on to the dead Trini picture for some reason. Billy's always the weirdo in my head. Yeah. I think it was the overalls. Anyways,
it was the 90s.
I don't know if I'm excited for it or not. I have low expectations. I want to see a trailer before I really commit one way or the other. But I agree with you. The casting does sound kind of fucking awesome. Yeah. So it could be good. I just hope they go in an original direction with it.
Yeah. Speaking of ideal casting, we have Anthony Hopkins starring in the new HBO series Westworld, which comes out soon. And this is, if you didn't know, based on another book by Michael Crichton, the same guy who wrote the book and screenplay for Jurassic Park. This is another science theme park gone wrong movie, but instead of dinosaurs, it's robots that gain sentience. So think Jurassic Park, but with robots. And I've never read the book. I've never even seen the old movie, which I've heard was popular at the time. But basically, the premise is Anthony Hopkins is he's basically this movie's version of the spared no expense guy.
Except he's super fucked up.
Yeah. And he builds robots with AI, and he builds a theme park called Westworld, where it's based off of the Old West, and you can pay to go there and act like you're a cowboy.
And also in the original screenplay, I don't know if they're going to go into this. There are 2 other worlds as well. There's Roman world and medieval world.
Yeah, I don't think they're doing that in this one.
Which were basically owned by the same person. So what it could be is you start in Westworld, and then over the seasons they expand to the other worlds and shit. I have no idea though. This looks cool, and Anthony Hopkins. I watched the unrated trailer. It didn't really have much of anything in it that was considered too much. Maybe it was violence or something. But it was really good, and the lines that he had in that made me extremely intrigued. At first, I thought it was like a virtual reality thing because of the way they edited the, like this lady's walking through like a prairie or whatever, and then it kind of goes, and she's sitting in a place, and then she's back, and then she's sitting in a place, and then she's back. But I do think it's gonna go robots because of the way. Yeah. The original movie was robots.
In one of the trailers, I saw them building a robot, and also they showed them crossing the threshold into Westworld. There is like a door you walk through and you go in. It's like an enclosed area. Right.
Yeah. In the original movie, which has got more information in it than the trailer, so bear with me for a second. It followed the story of, and of course this is a series, not a movie, so it's gonna be different. But followed the adventures of 2 people, James Brolin being one of them, and then some other guy, and they go to Westworld, and they just want to live the Western life for a little bit, and then this guy keeps killing this one robot over and over because it's like a dual robot that fulfills that fantasy, but the robot actually ends up going after them, and so it's kind of a chase situation. So we'll probably get some of that. It looked like, I forget the actor's name. You know the guy in the black in the new trailer for the HBO series? I forget his name. No, it's not James Caan. That was Bowser. But man, I wish I could remember that guy's name. But he's in a black, and he says like, "I'm here to help you" or whatever. It looked like an adaptation of the original antagonist.
Sure,
so it looks really really interesting. I thought it was an original idea because I had never heard of it, but this looks like a much different take than last time.
Yeah, I'm wondering, just on a plot hole level, why did you give the robots live ammunition?
They don't. Well, at least in the original film, it's not live, and then they kind of become self-aware and then make it. Kind of like it's the Jurassic Park syndrome, of course. Like they just kind of like, oh, they found a way out, or they found a way to reproduce. I hope Ian Malcolm's in this.
That'd be a funny cameo, but I don't know. Anyway, the reviews have come out because the press got the first 4 episodes early. It's a 10-episode first season, and they've all raved about it. They said, Game of Thrones is winding down right now. It only has, I think, like 1 or 2 more seasons left before they end it, and HBO is looking to maybe have this be sort of their big budget replacement for that, and it's sci-fi Western instead of fantasy. It's interesting. I'm more impressed by what I read about it, which is it's not just going to go on indefinitely. They have a full series arc already written, and then when the show ends, it's going to end. And I love shows that do that. Breaking Bad did that.
Sopranos did that as well.
Yeah, I respect a show that knows when to stop, and because
HBO has been nailing that type of shit. The only one, it was a Cinemax, right? Was Dexter that didn't finish when it should have.
Showtime, that went on about 2 seasons too long. Some people say stop after season 4, but season 5 is still watchable. But
I think it's all watchable, but it gets really convoluted at the end, and of course the ending is just not as fulfilling as you'd want. Yeah. We won't spoil it though. Go watch some Dexter. It's good quality programming for 4.5 seasons.
Yeah.
Moving on to more quality programming, but probably not. The Class, the Doctor Who spinoff, taking place at Coal Hill Elementary.
High school.
Or is it high school now? Right, because Clara's gone. But it comes out October 22nd and takes place kind of in this Coal Hill, which is a famous Doctor Who school, of course. It was the first school that was the first Doctor was part of, right? And they kind of been bringing it back over the years.
Yeah, it was the first Doctor landed near there at a junkyard, and his granddaughter Susan attended school there for a while, but they were hiding out for a couple months or whatever, and Ian and Barbara, his first companions, were teachers there. So.
Yeah, but I gotta say, not excited for this. I really don't like spin-offs of... Like, this always happens with good series, like that. But Doctor Who isn't fun because sci-fi. It's fun because Doctor.
For the most part,
what I mean?
I'd agree.
Yeah, if the Doctor isn't part of a Doctor Who episode, it's just not as good. The only one I can think of that pulled that off is Blink.
Yeah, but it still had an iconic, even though this was the original version of that monster, the Weeping Angels, it was still interesting, and it used the time travel aspect interestingly, which I'm just a time travel fan, and it had that sort of bootstrap paradox thing going on. So that made it interesting to me. But this show, as far as I know, isn't really going to involve time travel. It's just going to involve aliens invading or something like that. Not only that, I guess the idea for this show wasn't originally a Doctor Who spinoff at all. It was just going to be this sort of teen sci-fi-ish drama with the same basic premise where they're stopping alien stuff, but then the guy went to Stephen Moffat, or Stephen Moffat went to him. I don't remember, but basically they just turned it into a Doctor Who spinoff. That wasn't the original intention.
That sounds even worse when you're just like, I don't know, just shove Doctor Who stuff into it.
Also, it looks like there's not going to be any returning monsters from Doctor Who at all. It's all original aliens and stuff. So we're not going to see Daleks, we're not going to see Cybermen, we're not going to see any and that's fine. I'm okay with original monsters, but if you're going to call it the spinoff, it needs to have some connection other than just you say it's in that universe. And apparently the first episode, which comes out October 22nd, it's not just BBC. I forget what network it is. It's like the teenage BBC network, whichever one that is. The Doctor's going to be in the first episode, and he'll kind of set up the plot. You get it. But
okay, Torchwood fell victim to this. Like, it just wasn't as... Like, I watched all of Torchwood. It's just not as good because it has this sort of stuff. Like, Captain Jack gets good, especially in the two miniseries as opposed to the two full seasons. But it's just... Like, not even Captain Jack can pull that off. Yeah. And if Captain Jack Harkness can't pull off a series by himself, 4 teenagers that are in the Doctor Who universe... It says it's supposed to involve like mature subjects, though, like sex and stuff like that.
I've heard that too. It's so strange because Doctor Who, as much as I love the show, the unit without the, and this is just my opinion, you can feel free to disagree. Without the Doctor, the universe isn't all that interesting. It's not a like very well put together sci-fi universe. It just isn't. It's not like it has a lore, but it's a pretty paper thin lore.
The lore is whatever the Doctor affects, though. I get that we're looking at it through the lens of the Doctor being the central focus, of course. But if you think about it, other than that, like go watch Torchwood. If you think that universe is so rich, you can't get through it happily. It's just kind of boring. You're like, yep, those sure are people with sexual desires and relationship quirks. Yep, that's how people work. Part of the appeal to the Doctor is that he doesn't understand why humans are like that and doesn't partake. Like, that's kind of the interesting focus. You'll see, like, when Clara or Rose or any of them have this sort of attraction to the Doctor, it's not reciprocated because he's not interested in that most of the time.
Unless you're David
The closest
Tennant.
one was Tennant,
yeah.
But he didn't. But he never went through with it because he knew it was fucking fruitless. You know what I mean? Like, that's the best part about Tennant's Doctor, I think, is the fact that they could have easily said, yeah, have this romance with Rose, and they chose to be like, no, he's not going to do that.
I would argue they have a romance, they don't have a relationship. There's a difference. They both, obviously, especially because you see it in the last episode of...
I mean, okay, that's fair if you're going to nitpick, but you know what I meant by an actual on-screen romance.
The last words to each other before they bring her back arbitrarily in later seasons, it's clearly he was going to say he loves her. So
right, I mean, I get it.
I get what you're saying though. They didn't actually have them have like an on-screen. I get it.
Right, like if he has a girlfriend that's fucking, it's suddenly the whole mythos crumbles because now he's kind of tethered to a person. It's super weird.
Well, they did that with River, but that was a little different because of the dynamic. So
Right, River wasn't a big deal. I actually liked the last River episode, which is the last Capaldi episode. That was the perfect cap to that.
Yes, that was really good. River song episodes were very hit and miss, but I loved that episode. So
I liked her first, second, third, and last appearances most. I don't like. You like Let's Kill Hitler? The more I watch that episode, it annoys me.
why?
I don't know. It's kind of like, ha ha! I'm a go-getter. I'm a femme fatale.
I get it.
I think I'm sexy, and it's just like, yeah, okay. I do like the Tesselecta though. I mean, that's important, but anyways,
I like that
Doctor
episode.
Who class is gonna suck.
It might. I'll still watch the first one because it's been almost a year since I've had a new Doctor Who, and I want to see Capaldi doing his thing.
Oh, I'll check it out, but I gotta say I'm gonna bail. I already know I'm gonna bail on it.
Probably. We might. Well, I'm sure once that happens, we'll talk about it on the show. But I don't know, man. Moffat isn't handling it though; it's a different guy, so maybe it'll be its own thing and be good. But at that point, I would rather them not have it connected to Doctor Who and just make like a good sci-fi program.
The last show that I liked that was sort of like that was Misfits, right?
Yeah.
And it was the first 2 seasons were good, and then after that they fucked themselves.
Yeah. You see, they're doing an American remake of Misfits.
I don't want to see that.
It's gonna be terrible.
I don't want to see that at all.
It's gonna be terrible.
I don't want that
because a huge part of Misfits was they're kind of jerks, and there's a lot of sex in it, and there's a lot of like. Not like sex for the sake of it. It's part of the characterization, like their sexual relationships with each other.
One of the powers was
yeah,
desire,
right,
which was interesting.
And
so
there's a lot of language and stuff in it, and they're gonna neuter that for American television. It's not gonna be good. It's gonna be bad, but whatever. It is what it is.
Def.
Anyway, I guess that's enough about that. Basically, I don't think it's going to be that great, but I'll check it out to see the Doctor. And then finally, the last thing we're going to talk about, I'm sure you're sick of hearing us talk about the DC Cinematic Universe, but this week, a kind of a big thing did come out. The casting had already been announced, but this is the first glimpse of the character on screen. And that's Jim Gordon, who I'm surprised we didn't see at all in Batman v Superman, but they got a good cast for it, which the powerhouse behind the DC universe right now is the casting department, because they're the only ones who are on their fucking game.
Well, and to be fair, Jeff Johns and Ben Affleck are the forces behind these things now. Like, it's pretty much confirmed that they're moving forward. It goes through them.
I hope so.
How the stories turn out. Well, even there's chatter right now about the script of Justice League being totally reworked through them.
I hope so, because honestly, I cannot handle more shitty DC movies. Anyway, J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. It's not a lot. It's a promotional shot. I assume this is on the actual set, though, because it looks very put together. It's him on a rooftop, kind of looking up and outward, and the bat signal's there, which is interesting.
This is the Jim Gordon I didn't know I wanted.
Yeah, I like the Dark Knight version, but obviously, like a lot of things in the Dark Knight, it's more grounded, it's more realistic, and plus Gary Oldman. You gotta love Gary Oldman. Come on.
Right.
But this one looks a little bit more like the comic book version I like, which is, I don't know how to describe it. How do I describe it?
Batman Year One. It looks Batman Year One-y.
Yeah, kinda. And he's got a trench coat on, and I think he's got like a fedora or something.
He's got the hat, he's got the glasses, and he's got the stash. He's it's not. If you've ever read Year One, it's through the lens of Jim Gordon. That's one of my favorite books.
Yeah.
In the Batman canon, it's just so great.
I think it works in this universe because by looking at him, you can kind of tell, oh, this is kind of a grizzled cop who's been working in Gotham for 20-something years. I could see this guy being worn out. The dynamic between him and Batman I'm interested in, too, here, because he was never mentioned at all in Batman v Superman. And I think my headcanon reason why is because once Batman started getting more extreme, he kind of had a falling out with Gordon, I would assume, because Gordon, at the end of the day, he's the prototypical good cop who does not tolerate, people stepping outside the bounds.
Also consider Jason Todd exists in this universe.
Yes.
It was confirmed by Suicide Squad. We already kind of knew, but it was confirmed in there's a quick snapshot of Harley Quinn's little thing saying she was she was an accomplice to the murder of Jason Todd. So I assume Barbara exists in a very similar capacity to what she does while Jason Todd is active. She's either Oracle or Batgirl, and she's probably Oracle at this point because of the way that Alfred was talking to Bruce about, how many heroes are left and that sort of thing.
I could see that. That would imply that at that point it's possible Gordon... Well, even if Gordon, I guess, doesn't know Barbara was Batgirl, I guess he could assume that the Joker killed or shot her, therefore it's Batman's fault. I could see it. There's a number of ways that they could have a falling out, but I think that's the dynamic they're going to have. Is,
right.
Maybe they haven't talked in a couple of years, but this Justice League thing is so big, Gordon needs to call him in for help or something.
I think it'll be post-Killing Joke.
Sure.
Because of just how isolated Bruce seems to be at this point in his life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I could see it.
Like, he's kind of the self-deprecating, it's all my fault, I'm brooding, I'm a bat, type of guy where he'll just, how him and Robin always have fallings out where they don't talk forever. Gotta have Nightwing soon, though, right? I mean, we're on the precipice of a Nightwing on-screen thing. We're there.
I cannot wait to see Dick Grayson in this universe. And, this universe is butchered and mischaracterized. Plenty of characters. But Dick Grayson, that's not hard to get. Get it right, guys. I want to see some Nightwing. The one character I never want to see, though, is Damian Wayne. Get that shit out of my face.
Yeah. Get your Damian Wayne out of my face. I don't need that. I don't need Talia. I don't need Roz. Or Raish, depending on what kind of fucking nerd you are. I don't need any of the Al Ghouls. I don't need any of it at all. No. I just want give me A-list Batman villains, and if you consider Ra's al Ghul an A-list Batman villain, you're garbage because he's easily a C.
I like most Batman villains for different reasons. That's one for some reason I can't stand. I don't like him.
It's because he's dealing with shit that Batman doesn't need to fucking deal with. Oh, Lazarus Pit, terrorism. Okay. Just fuck off. Fuck off with your swords and ninjas. We get it. Batman's kind of a ninja. I don't want to see him fight other ninjas. No. I'm not here for a karate movie. I'm here to see him beat thugs up and have really interesting arch nemeses. Ra's al Ghul just wants fucking purity. It's not fun. That's not cool. The idea that the Penguin just wants to run guns. The Riddler is just compulsively obsessed with that sort of shit. Deadshot, Deathstroke. Even Calendar Man's interesting comparatively.
Yeah.
Where he just has a compulsory desire to kill people. Victor Zsasz or Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
You can have any of them.
Yeah.
Firefly, who I think is the Russian guy now, but I could be totally wrong on that. It could be the other one. What's that? KJB or KGB guy?
KG Beast?
KG Beast. Could be KG Beast.
He's a character in and of himself.
What? I know. I'm saying the Russian guy that got blown up by the Martha
I
rescue.
think they said if we're thinking of the same person, they did say KG Beast was in Batman vs. Superman, so it might have been him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if it is him, that's fine. But Firefly would make sense.
I don't...
Because he got immolated by Batman. No, that's super fun.
I don't like Firefly. I set things on fire.
I don't like Firefly as much. I'm just saying it makes sense as like a cameo opening scene Batman villain.
I could see that. I do like the idea of Batman movies opening with a lesser villain that's never going to get screen time else otherwise, and him taking him down, putting him in Arkham.
Oh, I need that in my life. The next Batman has to open on that, and you can even kind of Tarantino that shit where the opening scene here means something later, but it's something innocuous that you probably wouldn't notice otherwise. You can tie it together if you want, but if you just give me for no reason Batman scene, like we just got dropped into the middle of a comic book, oh yeah, popcorn at the ready.
Yeah, so, I don't know. That's all I have to say. That's good casting. I like J.K. Simmons. He's a good guy. He was a great...
Buff as hell.
Is he? Oh, yeah.
Have you seen those weightlifting pictures? Dude.
I saw that, which is weird. Didn't he say that was for this role, too? Which, does that mean Commissioner Gordon's going to kick some ass? Because that'd be kind of cool to watch.
Commissioner Gordon kicks ass in the comics all the time. Yeah. So, yeah, I'd be down with that. J.K. Simmons is a hell of an actor. I'm really excited about it. Yeah. Him and Ben Affleck on the screen at the same time is going to be fun, I think.
Yeah. I hope that one, I know this is not just in the Dark Knight movies, but the one gag I hope they don't continue because I don't think it fits this movie is
the where he disappears.
Yeah. I get that's funny, but
they're gonna do it once.
they overused
They're
it
gonna do
in
it
the
once.
Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises so much. It's not funny anymore.
They're going to do it. Well, it was an homage to the Batman the Animated Series, which is the Batman we all think
it's
of.
happened in comics too. It's a Batman thing. I totally get it, but
No, of course.
I'm
but,
so
yeah.
over that joke.
They're gonna do it one time, and if they do it once, they get a pass. You get one pass, not per movie, per once. and then it's over, and then we move on. Although it's kind of weird to see Batman like crawling down the fire escape. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I'm just leaving. Kind of, I don't know. There's no other way to kind of exit him from a scene unless you just cut.
I get it, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that's it for this episode. If you want, you can always follow us on Twitter at @TheRealUnpop, and we actually have someone who runs that for us now, so we can be lazy fucks. And
he's our social media manager / Patreon manager. Up next will be the Patreon for Unpop overhaul. So stay tuned. We could have some cool stuff going on. But anyways, I think that's good. You should subscribe to the channel and get more of this. We'll be streaming some more video games soon, hopefully. And Luke Cage comes out on the 30th, meaning pretty much a week after that, we'll be having our live show where we discuss Luke Cage. Give you guys about a week and change to watch the whole series so we can really talk about it, because I'm super pumped about this. My girlfriend's pumped about this. My boyfriend Hugo is pumped about this. It's just going to be great.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've heard very good things. There have been reviews out already for it. I think I mentioned that before. It's supposed to be great. Everything they put out is great. So, anyway. So, you can always donate to our Patreon if you want to support the show. Other than that, until next time, I am Hugo Man.
And I'm Jake Gar.
And this has been Unpopular Culture. See y'all next week.
I imagined that you were a superhero, and I am Jake Gar, your gorilla nemesis.
Oh, okay. Like a psychic gorilla?
No, psychic gorilla is stupid.
Take that, Flash villains.